Mark and I were just talking about the coastal path of Fife, and I've been trying to catch Mark up. I'm only at Burnt Island, but I'm a wee bit worried about the chain walk section coming up. You posted some pretty scary looking photos, or was it not really that scary?
It's awesome. I mean, you do need to focus. I mean, it's one of those things that I would not take young kids on, but it's fine. If you got it wrong, you'd hurt yourself. And it's certainly not a run; it's a proper scramble.
Do you have to look at should I look at the tide times and all of that?
100%. So if you do the Ely chain walk when the tide is completely out, then it's actually quite easy because you don't need to do the scrambly sections or most of them. If you do it when it's all the way in, it's probably a bit too gnarly. I think the best time is sort of between tides, so that you've got that sort of imminent danger of the tide coming in, but and you're forced to then do the sections which include the chain, because if the tide's all the way out, as I say, you can just you can walk along what is the sea floor at that point, as opposed to having to scramble. It's fine to me.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's spectacular. It's absolutely beautiful. We're not far ahead, so we've just made it to the corner, the Scotty Dog's Nose, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So we're over at Crail, and I always knew that section would be beautiful. So I always sort of assumed that sort of the section from, certainly the chain walk around St Andrews would be particularly nice. But the bit I was surprised about was like Kincardine to South Queensferry. I thought that would be a bit more industrial and a bit more sort of farmland and stuff. Yes. But do you know what? It's a good run. There's some really nice stuff in there. So
I enjoyed Dalgety Bay, Aberdour, all along there. Yeah, some really nice, pretty sections, weren't there?
They've done the path really well. It's it's obviously well maintained. And actually, I was talking to somebody, and the increase in people using the Fife Coastal Path and all these big trails, I mean, it's the same with the John Muir Way and others, has shot up since March 2020. So it's great. There's loads more walkers and runners out.
Yeah, and I think even just the number of runners, people that have started running, certainly in the last lockdown, I don't know so much this time, winter, ice, dark, cold can put quite a lot of people off. I actually quite enjoy winter running, but I know for newbies especially, that can be a bit they might, because I've got trail shoes, because I've been running a long time. Of course, I've got trail shoes in the cupboard, but not everyone has the kit.
I think it's interesting mindset. So when you first start, it depends on your motivation. When you first start cycling outdoors or running, it's normally about well-being. It's normally about fitness. So it's very much about, tracking your steps and your pace and doing a certain distance and the metrics around it, which is important. But as you get into sport, I really do think sport is not just about sort of fitness as a sort of some place you want to get to. It's about creating memories. And if you switch your motivation in sport from well-being and some idea of sort of looking after yourself and being healthy to creating memories, then it allows you to do things which are not quite so, not so safe, but just so routine. Like if you chat to any of my running buddies, like it's rarely about let's go for a 10K. It's like, I wonder where that path leads, or shall we go at night? Or, just I'm constantly craving, like a child, something which is just a bit interesting and is going to create a positive memory. And if you can switch your sport, especially your running or your cycling, to something which is more about feeding the soul, which is more about just the good fun that you can have, then all the metrics, like the pace and the fitness and that'll almost take care of itself, because you're more inspired. And I think that's where a good sense of mischief comes in. Going out for late night runs or early in the morning or whatever it is. I think you've got to have that sort of childlike want to do things a bit differently and just to challenge yourself. And I think that sort of opens up so many sort of adventurous options for people. And I think it stops them just going, I'm going to leave my front door and do a 5K. And it suddenly becomes, how can I spice this up? And I think that's a fun, especially if you build a group of buddies, a group of friends, a WhatsApp group where you share that sense of challenge and mischief, where it becomes as much about, where are we going this week? And I think that's more interesting.
Absolutely. I suppose yes. I mean, you've got to have the base fitness to be able to do that. So you've got to do your kind of your more baseline runs to be able to go, right, doesn't matter how long we're going for, let's just do it. We're going up that hill, fine, I know I can do that, I've got the fitness for it. But you're absolutely right. I think I've never really thought of it that way, as memories. For me, the switch was going from I suppose as a lot of girls especially, it's a bit of bigger, first of all, losing weight, toning up, and then it's, I can eat as much cake as I like, and then it becomes, I'm getting faster, I can run further, and as you say, how many steps can I do, or what was my pace? And then certainly over lockdown, it's been about, this is time to myself. So it's been about, for me, more the mental side of things, of I just need out of the house, I need some time to myself, I need to see nature, I need to be amongst trees and running on trails, but I hadn't ever actually connected the word memory making with running, and I'm going to mull that over. Actually, that's a really good, that's really I think quite inspiring, actually.
The other important bit, I guess, just within the way I think about it, is we're creatures of habit, and so even if running's a part of your routine, it's so easy to get stuck into the same routes, the same patterns, and it's purely about the physical. And if it's purely about the physical, then when it gets uncomfortable, it's hard to be quite so inspired or dig so deep. So I've made a massive point, especially since I've been in Edinburgh more over the last year and a half, to really explore new routes, to really have that sense of where does that path go and do things differently. So during the first lockdown, spring last year, I thought, well, the kids are at home. I've got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. And Harriet, my eldest, was 6 at the time. And I was listening to the Rich Roll podcast in the US, and he was talking to Ricky Gates, the American ultra runner.
Sorry, but I will look him up.
Ricky Gates, massive ultra runner. He was a professional adventure runner. He ran across the States, but then he did a very famous project called Every Street, where he ran every street in San Francisco, which is a 7-mile. Yeah. So every street, it was a Salomon sponsored project where San Francisco's only 7 miles across, I think, but it took him 3 months to do it, running ultra every day, because it's just so compact. And I was listening to this in the first week of lockdown last year. I thought, that sounds amazing. So I dug out the A to Z of Edinburgh, and I went to the post office and I picked one up. It cost $2.95. I've got it here. And like the little pocket map, the little handy A to Z.
Oh yeah.
And I picked that up the next day. £2.95 it cost. And then I sat down with Harriet, my daughter, and I said, right, do you want to do a run? But rather than just doing a run, do you want to try and just do an area and do every street in that area? And then so we did that the first day, and then she got a highlighter pen and coloured it in.
Right.
And then every day, about 5 days a week for 3 months, she would cycle and I would run, and I would just take a slightly longer lunch break. And then it was kind of her school project. So we would take a different part of Edinburgh. And so that A to Z of Edinburgh, I now know, is 506 miles.
Oh my goodness. And is it all filled? Is it all highlighted in there? Oh, that's brilliant.
So it's every single street in Edinburgh.
Wow.
It's 800 kilometers, every cul-de-sac. And as a runner, you don't go run down cul-de-sacs. You don't run down.
No, you don't.
But it's really fascinating. And of course, if you look back at my routes online on Komoot or Strava or whatever from last March, April, May, you'll see all these really intricate, crazy routes where I'm just trying to run every street. But what was really fun about it was I spent just over 100 hours with my daughter. She was cycling, I was running. I wasn't particularly quick, but I got super running fit because I was on my feet for a 10K every single day. And I just got to have all these cool conversations with my daughter, which I never would have been able to do if we hadn't come up with a project like that. Yeah. But it also gave me a totally different appreciation of Edinburgh, which I thought I knew, but I'd never I'd never run through, you know, like Pilton before, or, you know, I'd never been to parts outside of where I lived or where my family or friends lived, and it was fascinating.
And there's always another career there. If things all go tits up, Mark, you can be a
postman.
Cabbie. A postman. I was going to say a cabbie, but yeah, you can be a postman.
I think, I'd have my knowledge, wouldn't I?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, cool. Oh, well, I don't want to stop. I'm having a great time chatting to you, but I suppose there's got to be an end point somewhere. But thank you again for giving up your time to chat about racing and running and cycling as well, especially during this weird time that we're all missing. I think running is such a solo thing, and we're just, runners are missing each other and missing seeing each other at races or at events. So yeah, thank you for. Yeah, well, actually, I've been inspired today just by your chat about memory making. I'm going to make those runs count.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's great to catch up. We'll see you at the next event. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, Mark.
Love blast running. We'll find some adventures close to home until we can go further.
Brilliant. I'll stop recording there.